And last but not least, Senator Abdul Mohamed Haji. M, Mr. Speaker, Standing Committee on Roads, Transportation and Housing. The following senators have been nominated: Senator Paul Karungo Dhangwa, Senator Peris Tobiko Pesi, John Kinyo Nderitu, Mohamed Said Chute, Steve Leleguel Tumbesi, Enoch Kio Wambua, Moses Otieno Kajwang, Justice Stewart, Senator Justice, Retired Justice Stewart Mazayo, Edwin Watenya Sifuna. Lastly, Mr. Speaker, the Standing Committee on Trade, Industrialization and Tourism. The following senators: Senator Lenku Ole Kana Seki, Onesmus Kipchumba Murkomen, Jackson Kiplangat Mandago, Tabitha Karanja Keroche, Paul Karungo Dhangwa, Crystal Kegehi Asige, Andrew Omtata Okoiti, Senator Betty Batuli Montet, Senator Hezena M. Lemaltian. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, this is a very important motion. And I know while earlier we had quickly made progress, not to say that the previous committees that you are moving are not important, but this is actually the engine room of the House, Mr. Speaker. If we successfully pass this motion, Mr. Speaker, we set the motion of the Senate, the third Senate, the fourth Senate, Mr. Speaker, because committees of the House are extremely powerful. And I know for a fact, Mr. Speaker, that in my course of life in Parliament, I have seen actually committees of the House of Parliament resolve issues that would have otherwise been considered impossible to solve. I have seen lives transform, ordinary problems that perhaps citizens of the Republic thought were impossible to solve. But just by appearance of a committee of the Senate, solutions have been found to those problems, Mr. Speaker. So I want to urge members to take keen interest in their work as members of these committees, Mr. Speaker. It's extremely important. It's a great platform. I cannot think of a greater platform, Mr. Speaker, where as a leader in this country, you can solve issues that are affecting our country, if not through a committee of Parliament, Mr. Speaker. I have seen on many occasions, Mr. Speaker, sometimes even not very complicated issues. When we went to Senator Enoch Kio Wambua's county of Kitui, the Senate's Standing Committee on Justice and Legal Affairs visited the Kitui prison. And by holding their sitting there, Mr. Speaker, they ordered the release of almost 300 remandees that were just being kept in prison because of petty fines of 500, 1,000, 2,000. Their lives were transformed that day. Mr. Speaker, I know that this House has immense powers. And when members sit and take their work diligently as a committee of Parliament, then actually you have no reason to complain anywhere about things that are not right. Because just the same way when the Supreme Court makes a determination, a matter is considered final. On many of the issues that are bothering our citizens, Mr. Speaker, if a committee of Parliament makes a determination and guides the country on a particular trajectory, that is a final decision about it. This is the only House where laws are made, Mr. Speaker. There is nowhere else, not even the President, no matter how powerful he is, can make law. So I want to urge my colleague senators to take their work seriously. We shall set the ball rolling beginning today, Mr. Speaker. Should we agree? I want to believe, Mr. Speaker, as we had earlier been informed by the clerk's table, that actually after the passage of this motion today, they shall be releasing a schedule of when the committees are having their first sitting to elect their leadership, so that beginning next week, we want to see people summoned before this House. We want to see, Mr. Speaker, petitions being brought and matters being dispensed of as quickly as possible, because Kenyans have given us the power to do this. We have already earned our first salary, Mr. Speaker. Let us not earn the second salary of this House without doing anything substantial, Mr. Speaker, for this country. There are many things that I could have said about committees, Mr. Speaker, and I have a lot to say about it. But I know, Mr. Speaker, that at 5:30, unfortunately, we have got to adjourn, and many senators would wish to say many things about these committees, Mr. Speaker. And therefore, in the spirit and returning the favor that colleague senators have shown to us as leadership,